What could move an entire wedding to tears? From the moment Kim Woo-bin began reading his heartfelt vows to Shin Min-saw, the atmosphere shifted, raw, emotional, unforgettable. Guests were seen wiping away tears as the actor poured his soul into every word. What happened next left everyone breathless. Join Hidden Korea as we uncover every moving detail of this unforgettable wedding moment. Live now. As the soft strains of a piano echoed through the private hall tucked in the serene hills of Jeju Island, every eye turned toward the groom, Kim Woo-bin. The moment he began reading his vows to the love of his life, Shin Min-saw, an unmistakable shift occurred. Time seemed to still. The emotion in his voice trembled like a delicate thread, tugging at every heart in the room. It was not just a celebrity wedding. It was the culmination of a love story defined by resilience, compassion, and the kind of devotion that only grows stronger in the face of adversity. In a world where glitz often outshines sincerity, Kim Woo-bin and Shin Min-saw offered a powerful reminder: real love still exists, and it can move even the most composed hearts to tears. Let's go behind the scenes of this unforgettable moment with Hidden Korea. Held at an exclusive oceanside estate on Jeju Island, the wedding was intended to be intimate, with only family members, close friends, and a few key figures from the entertainment industry in attendance. Yet, as soon as the ceremony began, streams and emotional posts began flooding social media. Fans across Korea and around the world were suddenly part of a deeply personal, emotional milestone, watching in awe as two of the nation's most beloved stars shared their vows. According to insiders, the couple had meticulously planned every detail of the ceremony themselves. Rather than opting for extravagance, they chose warmth. The ceremony space was surrounded by natural white flowers, symbolizing purity and new beginnings. Twinkling lights hung from the trees, giving the setting an almost magical glow as dusk fell over the island. No element outshined the raw emotion that would follow. Before diving into the events of the ceremony, it's important to understand the bond that brought these two actors to this moment. Their relationship began quietly in 2015, shortly after they were paired for a fashion campaign. Unlike many celebrity couples, are often forced to live out their romances in public, Kim Woo-bin and Shin Min-saw kept theirs grounded in privacy, mutual respect, and extraordinary strength. Love was tested early on when Kim Woo-bin was diagnosed with nasopharyngeal cancer in 2017. At a time when many couples would have crumbled, Shin Min-saw stood by his side without hesitation. She reportedly accompanied him to every treatment session, shielded him from media chaos, and provided the quiet strength that allowed him to recover. Their 8-year journey wasn't marked by flashy headlines or scandals, but by silent support and steadfast affection. At the heart of this ceremony was Kim Woo-bin's vow, a powerful, vulnerable expression that reportedly took weeks to write. Sources close to the groom revealed that he wanted to speak from the heart, not the script. And when he began, even those outside the venue could feel the weight of every word. "Once feared I might never get to stand here," he began, his voice already thick with emotion. "There were days when the future felt like a distant shore I might never reach, but every time I opened my eyes, you were there, smiling, holding my hand, loving me without question." A visible gasp moved through the guests. Even Shin Min-saw, often composed and graceful, was seen wiping tears from her cheeks. He continued, "You saw me when I couldn't even see myself. You believed in me when I had nothing to give. You gave me courage without ever asking for anything in return. I don't promise you perfection, but I promise you forever." Silence followed the vow. A reverent kind of silence only broken by the sound of soft sobs from the crowd. Several guests, including actors Lee Jong-suk and Young Ki-in, visibly emotional. A friend of the groom whispered to reporters, "That wasn't acting. It was his soul on display." Shin Min-saw's response, gentle, grounded, unshakable. If Kim Woo-bin's vow was thunder, Shin Min-saw's was sunlight. She stepped forward, her voice calm but trembling ever so slightly. "The world sees you as strong, talented, larger than life," she said, her gaze locked on him. "But I see you as someone who laughs at my silly jokes, who texts me reminders to drink water, who never lets go of my hand when I'm scared." She paused, holding back emotion. "People say you're lucky to have me, but I'm the lucky one. I got to love a man whose strength is only matched by his kindness." Her final words. Let's grow old, stubbornly, playfully, fearlessly, together. At this point, tissues were being passed around like confetti. What followed was not a burst of applause. It's something deeper, an overwhelming collective emotion. Guests didn't cheer, they embraced. Friends hugged one another tightly. Some closed their eyes in silent appreciation of what they had just witnessed. "It felt like the wedding of someone you've known your whole life," said one guest. "Like watching your best friend find peace." The wedding officiant, close friend of the couple, later told press, "I've performed many ceremonies. This was the first where I almost couldn't finish." There was something sacred in the air. Despite their celebrity status, the couple deliberately chose to keep the event modest. There were no towering floral arches or celebrity performances. Instead, the music came from a single violinist. The menu featured comforting Korean dishes, kimchi jjigae, galbi, and bibimbap served family style. Wedding favors were handwritten letters, each personally signed by Kim Woo-bin and Shin Min-seo, thanking guests for being a part of their journey. One letter read, "We hope our love reminds you to believe in yours." As night fell, the couple led the guests outside, where dozens of paper lanterns were released into the sky. Each one represented a wish, a memory, or a silent prayer. Kim Woo-bin and Shin Min-seo lit theirs together, whispering something only they could hear before watching it disappear into the stars. No one spoke for a moment. The kind of silence that meant everything had been said. Following the deeply emotional ceremony, guests were gently ushered to an adjoining garden for the after-party. A celebration designed not to impress, but to comfort. Soft jazz music floated through the air. Candles and lanterns created a warm, glowing canopy. The couple had insisted on a relaxed atmosphere where guests could shed the formality and simply enjoy being present, rather than a traditional head table. Woo-bin and Shin Min-seo sat among their guests, moving between tables, hugging friends, laughing softly. "It didn't feel like a wedding of stars," one guest later shared. "It felt like a family reunion." A custom-built memory wall displayed handwritten notes and Polaroid pictures from guests, showing moments from years of friendship, film sets, and private memories. The wall bore a simple message: love doesn't need an audience, only witnesses. Although it was a modest guest list, attendees included some of South Korea's biggest names. Among those spotted were Gongyu, Suzy, Sung Joong-ki, Bae Do-euna, and Park Seo-joon, all friends and colleagues who had worked closely with either Kim or Shin over the years. Yet, none of the usual red carpet energy was present. There were no designer flaunts or media frenzies. Everyone dressed in understated, elegant attire, as per the couple's wishes. In fact, guests were asked to avoid branded wear or drawing media attention at all. A rare but much respected request in the celebrity world. Perhaps one of the most heartwarming images captured that evening was of Woo hugging Shin Min-seo from behind during the slow dance. The moment quickly went viral online, dubbed by fans as a hug full of history. The after-dinner speeches proved almost as emotional as the vows. Young Hee-in, one of Kim Woo-bin's closest friends, candid and touching toast. When Woo-bin was at his lowest, it was Min-seo who reminded him he wasn't alone. And when Min-seo had doubts about love in this industry, Woo-bin showed her what real commitment looks like. They're not just a perfect couple, they're a testament to surviving fame without losing your heart. The crowd responded with another round of teary applause. The moment that struck a chord came from the groom's mother, who stood shakily and simply said, "There was a time I feared I'd lose my son. Today, I saw him become a husband. I thank you, Min-seo, turning him to me whole." No one in the garden was dry-eyed after that. Just when guests thought the night had reached its emotional peak, a projector screened it up. It played a 12-minute short film created by the couple, montaging 8 years of love. It featured unseen behind-the-scenes footage, voice notes, shared travels, quiet dinners, handwritten captions. There was no music, only the natural sound of laughter, footsteps, and the occasional "I love you" murmured between scenes. The final frame? A shot of them walking hand in hand down a snowy Seoul street, with the words, "No matter where we go, We'll always walk each other home. The wedding has become more than just a personal milestone, it's being hailed as a cultural reset for Korean celebrity relationships. Fans and the press alike have praised the couple's sincerity, dignity, and emotional authenticity. A landscape often dominated by tabloid rumors and fleeting romances, Kim Woo-bin and Shin Min-sa have redefined what it means to love in the spotlight, quietly, respectfully, and unwaveringly. Social media reactions: this wedding wasn't just beautiful. It was human. We all dream of love like this, thank you for reminding us it exists. No luxury, no showbiz. Just pure emotion. They set a new standard. Popular YouTubers have already uploaded emotional analysis videos, with millions of views. Psychologists and relationship coaches have cited the couple as a case study in healthy communication and mutual support. Stylist for Shin Min-sa: she chose her dress because it reminded her of her mother's wedding gown. She wanted something timeless, not trendy, and she refused any heavy makeup, just a soft blush and her natural glow. Kim Woo-bin's manager: he practiced those vows late at night. Every night for 2 weeks, not for performance, but because he didn't want to miss a single word. A co-star of Shin Min-sa: she used to joke that if she ever married, it had to be someone who loved her for who she was at home, barefaced, in pajamas, grumpy in the mornings. Bin fits that picture perfectly. Their wedding was never about spectacle, it was a declaration of emotional truth. In the midst of a world increasingly obsessed with appearances, Kim Woo-bin and Shin Min-sa stripped it all away and simply stood beside each other. Soul to soul. Love, in its purest form, doesn't need embellishment. It was in the trembling of their voices, the soft brushing away of tears, the gentle interlocking of hands, and the way they looked at each other, not like celebrities, but like survivors, best friends, and soulmates. The morning after, simple, sweet, and still together. Sources say the newlyweds spent the next morning walking along the beach quietly, away from cameras. Locals who spotted them said they looked relaxed and genuinely happy, occasionally stopping to take photos with a few lucky fans. No entourage. No media frenzy. Two people beginning a new chapter. As the media coverage settles and the photos fade from trending lists, remain is not the dress, the venue, or the star-studded guest list. It will be the feeling, raw, honest, unforgettable, that lingered long after the last candle burned out. Kim Woo-bin and Shin Min-sa didn't just get married, they made a promise not only to each other, but to anyone who's ever believed in lasting